Hi, I'm glad that you're here. I'm Lesley Fightmaster and this is Fightmaster Yoga. And I have my friend Shireen with us today. And some of you might remember Shireen from Yoga Fix 90. So we're gonna do something a little bit different. She's gonna be my student, I'll be her teacher, and we'll do some strength building and we'll work up to a fun arm balance. So you'll need 2 blocks and a strap, something to sit up on if you like to lift your hips a bit. Roll out your mat and let's get started. So we'll begin sitting up nice and tall, and again, we're sitting up on pillows just to lift the hips a little bit. I recommend it if you have something handy, or you can fold up a blanket. Once you sit, let's change the cross of our legs so that we have the other shin in front. And then just start to ground down through your sit bones and lengthen up through your spine. Close your eyes, lift your chest, and begin to come into your Ujjayi breathing. So remember, our Ujjayi breathing is in and out through the nose with a slight constriction in the back of the throat. I'm going to give you a little bit of a sound when you're breathing, so the person that's right next to you could hear it. But if there's somebody across the room from you, it wouldn't be that loud so that they could hear it. With every inhale, see if you can lengthen just a little bit taller, reaching the crown of the head up toward the ceiling. And with every exhale, see if you can relax a little bit around your neck and your shoulders and release any tension in the jaw. Now let's bring our hands together in Anjali Mudra in front of the heart, creating our intention. May our practice help us to become stronger both on and off of our mats. But with that strength, our practice help it to give us equal amounts of comfort and relaxation, especially off the mat. And then add any intention you would like. And then slowly release your hands and let your eyes blink open. Good. And then as you inhale, we're going to sweep the arms out, around, and up. Good. And then as you're paused here at the top, just roll the triceps forward, draw the shoulder blades down. Good. Keep the chest lifted. And then exhale, come forward, take your fingertips onto the floor. And then pull the chest forward, inhale. Keeping the spine really long, exhale, walk forward any amount. Just a slight stretch in the hips to begin. Good. So you might be able to see Shireen's spine is really long here. It's not rounding. If yours isn't getting that much, if you're not getting that much length, it's fine. You can come forward a little bit, but try and keep the chest really lifted and the spine lengthened. Beautiful. No, it's gorgeous. You can go all the way forward. And then inhale, let's walk on up and switch the cross of the legs. So the regular shin is in front. Good. Next, inhale again, sweep the arms out, around, and up. So at the top, the palms face each other, the triceps spin in, the shoulder blades release. And then exhale, bring the hands to the floor, just a little bit in front of you. Pull the chest forward as you inhale to lengthen, so you're hinging from the hips. And then you could stay right here, or if you have space, exhale and walk forward. Good. So again, she's keeping her spine really long. We're hinging from the hips. Notice there's no rounding in the back. We're keeping all the length. Let's take 2 more long breaths here. Relax around the shoulders and the jaw. And then inhale, walk yourself back up. Good. And then we're going to come onto our hands and knees. So let's move our pillows out of the way. We'll just put that right there. And come shoulders, hands under shoulders, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Good. And then keeping the belly pulled in, we're going to do some stability for the torso. So you can notice there's a little arch in the lower back. Everybody has it. We just want to make sure we're not making that more than it needs to be. So keep the ribs in. Great. Now extend your right leg straight back behind you. And then drop the outer right hip down and pin the left hip in towards center. Keep the ribs in. Now extend the left arm forward and stretch. Good. So just a few long breaths here. And what you want to try and work on here is keeping this outer hip dropping down and keeping the ribs and belly lifted. One more breath. She does a great job. And then slowly release. And we'll do the other side. So extend your left leg back. As you lift this leg, lift it from the inner thigh, and then the outer hip will drop down. And pinning the right hip in towards center, reach the right arm forward when you're ready. And notice, the low back just wants to arch a little bit, so keep lifting the belly. Sorry. She has an archy low back. Some people's arch is more than others. I know mine is a little bit archy as well. So it's okay though. It's all okay. Take another breath here, let the shoulder blades relax. Good. And release, coming back. Nice. So take your toes together and take your knees apart, and then take your hips back to your heels, and we'll come into a wide leg child's pose. Just a couple breaths here so that again we can start to stretch out the outer hips. And in table position, when we're extending the arm and the opposite leg, we're working on core. So we're working on getting those muscles ready for some deeper work. Good. And then from here, it's keeping the hands just where they are. Come up onto your knees. Good. Bring your knees a little closer together. Tuck your toes, bring your heels behind you, and downward dog. Good. So in downward facing dog, the arms are shoulders distance apart, feet are hips width, and then if you want to bicycle your legs here for your first one, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to, but it's something that it feels kind of good to do. And then make sure you're pressing into the base of the fingers and lifting up through the forearms, and we always want to keep length in the spine, so you're stretching back, and as you stretch back, make sure the ribs and the belly stay pulled in. Good. On your next inhale, come forward into plank pose. Good. So in plank pose, just like in table, keep the ribs and belly pulled in. Now, you can always take your knees down, so show your knees down for a moment. So this is fine. You can take your knees down anytime you wish, or you can keep the knees off. Good. But as she's here, she's going to press away from the floor. Keep reaching the buns toward the heels, lifting hip bones toward lower ribs, and lifting right in the top here of the back, just slightly. Good. And then very slowly, knees can be up or down. We're going to come to the belly. So shift forward for 5. Hug the elbows in as you lower. 4, 3, 2, and all the way to the belly. Slide the hands by the lower ribs and press all 10 toenails into the floor. Inhale, little cobra, peel the chest up. Draw the shoulder blades toward the waist, still lifting the hip bones up toward the lower ribs. Good. And then lower down. Tuck your toes under, lift your legs up off the floor. So if this is too much, you'll keep your knees down. Otherwise, you'll exhale, press right up into plank. Nice, and then lift the hips into downward facing dog. Good, stretching back again. Now, she's turning the outer upper arms, the triceps back, the inner upper arms, the biceps forward, and then as you're doing that, press a little extra into the thumb and first finger side of the hands. Good. Take a long breath in, and then exhale everything out. Bend the knees, look up to the fingers, lightly step or hop your feet to your hands. On your inhale, come halfway up, lengthen. Good. On your exhale, fold forward, bending the knees as needed. Good. And firmly press through the feet. Inhale, rise up, sweep the arms all the way up. And then exhale, bring the hands down, Samastitihi. Very nice. So come all the way to the front of your mats. Take your feet together or hip socket distance apart, making sure the outer edges of the feet are parallel. Press firmly down through the feet, lift up through the kneecaps, draw in through the belly, lift the chest. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms out, around, and up. As you exhale, hinge from the hips, so the hips will go back as you come forward. Good. Then inhale, come halfway up, lengthen. See how long her spine is here, it's great. And then exhale, bend the knees, plant the palms, and just step to plank. So remember, knees up or down is always an option. Lower down through chaturanga, she keeps the belly lifted. Inhale, cobra or up dog. If you're doing up dog, make sure the thighs and knees come off the floor, your choice. Good, and then exhale back into downward facing dog. Beautiful. Pressing back. And then when you're in down dog, make sure to always check in with your breath. Inhales and exhales equal in length. And just imagine I'm right here and I'm right at the top of your hips and I'm just pushing you back so that you're getting really long through the spine. 3 breaths. Keep your gaze between your knees or your feet and arms and ears in line. 2. And 1 more breath in. Exhale it out. Bend the knees. Keep the hips high. Lightly step or hop the feet up. Inhale, halfway lift. Good. Exhale to fold. Pressing down through the feet, rise up, inhale, stretch the arms tall. Keep the ribs in, and exhale, Samastitihi. Again, inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging from the hips. Beautiful. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthen. So chaturanga, you can step to plank and lower, or if you jump back, you can land with bent elbows in chaturanga. Whichever you like, step or float back, chaturanga, very nice. Then inhaling up, rolling the shoulders back, and exhale back into down dog. Good. As you take your next inhale here, let's lift the right leg back and up from the inner thigh. Good. So just like we did when we were in table, now the hips are level, and then this time we'll bend the knee and open up the hip on the exhale. So stretching out the hip, any amount, press evenly through the arms and shoulders as you reach back and reach down through the left heel. Really nice. Take an inhale, take the leg back and squaring off the hips. As you exhale, bring your knee down the center, shoulders over wrists, and hold it. Good. Take a breath here. And then inhale, sweep the leg back up from the inner thigh. And one more time, exhale, bring it forward, this time to the outside of your right tricep, as high up as you can, but don't let it rest there, even if you can't. Good. Inhale, sweep the leg up. Exhale, once more down the center. And then look up between the hands, step it right in the middle, and spin your back heel down. Inhale to Warrior 2. So coming up into Virabhadrasana 2. Make sure your feet are lined up, front heel with back arch. The knee is right over the ankle. Is that knee okay? Okay. And then the knees pressing toward the little toe side of the foot. Back inner thigh lifts up. Chest is lifted, but shoulder blades relax here. And then reverse your warrior. Exhale, bend into the front knee just a little. Great. Inhale, come back up. Now lean forward, take your right forearm to your right thigh. Lift your left arm straight up to the ceiling. Good. So you're going to lightly press the arm on the thigh. Try and rotate your torso up toward the ceiling. Keep all of that. You could stay right here or take this hand straight in front of you. So you're still going to hold it like you've got a little plate of cookies that you're serving as your belly continues to turn up toward the ceiling, reaching up through the top arm, relaxing the shoulder blades. It makes it a little more difficult. You think? Are you okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. She's strong. She can do it. And then keep pressing down into the front heel. Inhale, Warrior 2. Stay for the exhale. And one more breath in. Exhale, windmill the arms down. And go to down dog any way you like. You can go right into it or you can go to plank and lower chaturanga as you exhale. Inhaling up, toes straight back, ankles in. Exhale to down dog. Good. Take a breath here. Again, reconnect with the breath, pull the belly in. Inhale, lift your left leg back and up. Good. So first the hips are level and then bend the knee and open up that hip. Good. Really nice. Keep pressing evenly through the arms and through the shoulders. Pull the ribs and belly in. Right heel's reaching down. Then inhale, let's take the leg back to center. And exhale, knee toward the nose, shoulders over wrists, pressing away from the floor. Good. And then inhale, lift it up. Really nice. Exhale, we'll take it to the outside of the left tricep, really high. Good. She's so strong. Holding here. Then inhale one more time. Sweep it up. And exhale. Bring it down the middle. Again, breathe in. Exhale. Step it right in the middle of the hand. Spin the back heel down again to Warrior 2 as you inhale. Come on up. Good. So double check you are lined up heel to arch. Your left knee over the ankle. And the left knee will press a little toward the outer side of the foot, the little toe side. This hip drops down, this thigh lifts up. And then just gaze over the fingertips, relax the shoulder blades, and breathe. Continue your steady breath, so inhales and exhales are equal in length. Good, and then reverse your warrior as you inhale, and bend the knee as you exhale. Good. And come up on your inhale, lean forward just a little, take left forearm to left thigh, and right arm straight up toward the ceiling. Good. Pressing through the outer edge of the back foot, make sure the weight stays in the back leg. As you turn your torso a little bit so the top ribs go back and the bottom ribs come forward. And then you can stay right here or take that left arm straight ahead of you and hold it. So you gotta really engage your core muscles to hold it here. For 3 breaths, good. And 2. And inhale, come on back up to warrior 2. And exhale, cartwheel your arms down, make your way to down dog any way you like. You can go to plank, lower chaturanga, or just go right into down dog, your choice. And remember too, anytime you need a break, you can always take your knees down and take a child's pose. Always an option. Take 2 more breaths here. And if you do want to rest, push the pause button. Push the pause button, take a rest, and then come back when you're ready. 1 more breath in. Exhale it all out. Bend the knees, look up, step or float feet to hands. Inhale, look up to lengthen. Exhale and fold. Good. Press down through the feet. Inhale, reaching all the way up. And exhale to Samasthiti. We're going to practice tree pose, Vrikshasana. So it's a little balance. So ground down through your left foot first. And pick up your right foot, taking it ideally anywhere above or below your knee. As you lift your right leg up, drop your right hip down. As you drop your right hip down, pin your left hip in. If you're steady, inhale and reach up through the arms. Good. Palms will face each other, triceps are spinning forward. Keep a nice steady gaze somewhere, something that isn't moving. For 3 breaths, continue to draw the left hip in, and 2. And now point your right knee to the front and extend the right leg straight out here. Keep dropping that hip down. 2 more breaths. Beautiful. And release. Just step it right down. Good. You can let your arms relax a moment. We'll do the other side. Right foot down, left foot up, anywhere above or below your knee. So again, as you lift that left leg up, drop the hip down, pin the right hip in towards center. Next inhale, sweep the arms up when you're ready. Good. Shoulder blades relax. Keep your steady gazing point. It helps a lot. Keep the ribs pulling in and stretching up through the fingertips as if you could grow a little bit taller. Take 1 more breath. Nice. And now point your left knee to the front and exhale, extend it out. Keep dropping the left hip down, pinning the right hip in. Good. 1 more breath. And back to center, Samasthiti. Really nice. On the inhale, bend the knees and come into Utkatasana, chair pose. Good. Sitting back, drop the tailbone down, lift the ribs in, and exhale, fold into Uttanasana. As you inhale, come halfway up, lengthen. Exhale, step or float, chaturanga, your choice. Remember, you can always take knees down in chaturanga as well. Inhale to press up, toes straight back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. As you inhale, let's lift the right leg back and up again. And then exhale, bring it to the outside of the right tricep. And pause. Take an inhale here, as well as an exhale. Next inhale, sweep it up again. As you exhale, step it right in the middle of the hands. Once again, spin the back heel down. Come back to warrior 2 as you inhale. Good. Exhaling here. Now inhale to reverse your warrior. And exhale, bend into the front knee. Really nice. Inhale, come back up. Exhale to side angle, so leaning forward. This time you can either take forearm to thigh, or you can take your hand to the floor or to your brick. And reach the top arm up, then sweep it forward. Yeah, and spinning the tricep forward. So same as before when we had forearm on thigh, we're still gonna try to bring the top ribs back, the bottom ribs forward, as if you were trying to turn your navel up toward the ceiling, your belly button. Press to the outer edge of the back foot and into the front heel. So we're just stretching open the hip. Take one more breath. That's good. Now keep pressing into the front heel. Inhale, warrior two. Good. As you exhale, bring your hands down to the inside of your right foot and pick up your back heel. Good. Lengthen your spine here. Inhale. Exhale, stay, or come onto your forearms, or forearms can go onto a block if you like. Nice. So she does a really good job of keeping her hips level. I usually don't do as good of a job, but this is what we want. We want this right hip pulling back a little bit, this left hip lifting. And notice how her spine's really long, so she squeezes the right hip in toward the right shoulder. Now, if your knee has to go out to the side, it doesn't keep pulling in or pressing in, you can't get it to, it's okay, but just make sure your toes face the same direction. So if knee goes out, toes go out. Take another breath here. Back knee can also be down for a little more support if that feels better at this moment. Okay, one more breath here. Good, and then come back up. And we're gonna swing this leg back into downward dog or through a vinyasa, your choice. Good. If you're taking the vinyasa, you're exhaling chaturanga, inhaling to up dog, and exhaling back to down dog. Nice. Left leg up, inhale. Exhale, take it to the outside of the left tricep and pause. And breathe in here. We're gonna stay for the exhale. Really nice. Inhale, lift it up. Oh, back it up, yep. And then exhale, bring it down the center and step it right in the middle of the hands. Spin the back heel down, come back to warrior two. And keep pressing the knee toward the little toe side of the foot. Make sure it's over the ankle and your heel to arch with your feet. That's important. Then reverse your warrior. Did I do reverse on the other side? We think I did reverse. Exhale, re-bend into the front knee. And inhale, come back up. Lean forward for side angle. So again, you can take forearm to thigh, or you can take your hand down to the little toe side of the foot on the floor or on a brick. Reaching the top arm up, and then spin the tricep forward and bring it right in line with your ear. Now start to pull your ribs in and turn your belly up toward the ceiling. So again, we're still opening up the hip. So you're gently pressing this knee into the arm, and at the same time, pressing the back thigh back and lifting it up a little bit. Steady breath. Make sure that you're not clenching in your toes, so relax the toes, relax the shoulders. So we want the strength, but then we also want equal amounts of ease and comfort. Not always easy, is it? As you inhale, press into the front heel, come back into warrior two. On your exhale, cartwheel the arms down to the inside of your left foot. Pick up your back heel. Yeah, you might need to move your left foot over to the left a little. Bring the chest forward, lengthening the spine. Inhale. You could stay here or exhale, forearms to the floor or forearms onto a block. And again, she's very good at keeping the hips level. This is what we want. So this left hip draws back, the right hip will lift, and this left knee is going to draw in toward the shoulder if possible. And if you want to take it a little bit easier, you can always take the back knee down. And sometimes taking the back knee down can help you get deeper into the stretch. So it doesn't always have to be, oh, I have to do, the most difficult expression of the pose. We don't always have to do that. Take 2 more breaths here. Good. 1 more breath. And then come on up to the hands again and tuck your back toes under and make your way into down dog any way you like. This time through chaturanga, elbows in, inhaling up. Keep the ankles pressing in as you exhale to down dog. Really nice. Good. And then from here, I'm gonna have you walk your feet about as wide as the mat and walk your hands back to your feet, and we'll come into Malasana squat. Good. So as you're dropping down into Malasana, again, knees and toes, we want to stay in the same direction. So she can keep the outer edges of her feet parallel with the outside of the mat, and her knees are fine. If you need to turn your toes out in order to get down, that's fine too. Also, you could sit on a block. But the important thing is really getting a good stretch in the hips. You're getting a stretch in the hips? Mm-hmm. Good. Good. And now just for fun, I'm going to keep the same position, but put your hands on the mat. And then start to squeeze your legs on the outsides of the arms. So it's a little variation of Bakasana. You're going to start to lean forward. You're going to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Your legs are low for Bakasana, I know. But squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then maybe your feet will start to come off. Maybe they won't. Keep your gaze forward. That's really important. Great. Nice. And she presses up, pulling the belly in, really using the core muscles. And then back to the feet. Good. Walk yourself back to down dog. And take a long breath in here. Exhale it out, bend the knees, look up, either step or float your feet to the hands. Inhale, look up to lengthen, and exhale to fold. Good, pressing down through the feet. Inhale, sweep the arms up, and to Samastitihi. Good, and then we're gonna practice Bakasana here. So I'm gonna put this little pillow right there. And if you have a little pillow, you could do the same thing in case you happen to fall forward, then you have a really nice soft landing point. So inhale, first bend the knees into chair pose. Good. And then as you exhale, come down, bring your hands to the floor, flat on the floor. They can even be like, fingers can even be under the pillow if you want. And now, I'm gonna try and get your knees all the way up into your armpits. Good. Yes. So as high up as you can, knees into armpits. Now, we're gonna press away from the floor like we did earlier. Keep the gaze forward, shift your weight toward the hands a little bit. Keep squeezing the legs toward each other, and maybe one foot will come up, maybe both, and it doesn't really matter if you get to balance or not. Nice. And then from here, you can step or float back through Chaturanga. Gorgeous. Inhaling up and exhaling back. So Shireen has no idea what's going to happen next. So this is just like for you. You're watching, you have no idea what's happening, neither does Shireen. Take a breath here. Actually, we'll keep this right here. And then exhale it out. Oh, let's do this. Lift your right leg up, inhale, and exhale, bring it through for pigeon. It's a little pigeon stretch. Good. Then lengthen as you inhale. And if this happens to bother your knee at all, this front knee, you can instead come onto your back and take thread the needle, which looks like this. So it's another hip opening, but won't bother the knee as much. Otherwise, come into pigeon, going back into pigeon, and lengthen, inhale, and stay up or come forward on your exhale. Just for a couple breaths. We're not gonna stay very long. Just wanna do one last hip stretch. Good. So if you find that you're rolling onto your right hip, then you would want to prop it up with a little pillow or blanket of some sort so that your hips are level. Hers are level, so she doesn't need to. But if you're rolling off to one side, it's not good for your knee. Good. 2 more breaths only. And then walk yourself back up onto your hands and tuck your back toes under. Let's come right into downward facing dog, just all the way back. And then left leg up, inhale, and exhale for pigeon. So even if on the first side your knee was fine, but on this side it bothers you, remember, yeah, you can just swing yourself into thread the needle. The ankle's just past the knee, the foot is, or ankle's flexed, and the knee and the hip come forward. Otherwise, you're in pigeon. Knees okay for pigeon? Okay. So lengthen, you can stay up or exhale, come forward, your choice. Good, and again, we want the hips level, so if she were rolling onto this left hip too much, then we would put a blanket or a pillow underneath it. So relax the shoulders and the jaw, just a couple breaths here. Take 2 more breaths. Make sure your back toes are straight back behind you. Good, take 1 more long breath in. Exhale it out. And then walk yourself back onto your hands. Tuck your toes under, make your way into downward facing dog. If you would absolutely love a vinyasa, you could take one here. Inhale to plank, she would love it. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhaling up and exhaling back. Good. And now looking forward, we'll step or hop feet to hands. Good. So inhale to lengthen the spine and exhale to folds. Bend the knees, come back into Utkatasana. Good, reaching up, and then to Samasthiti. All right, so we're going to practice Galavasana, and we'll start with the right ankle just above the left knee. I have these here just to show, although you won't probably use them, but just in case. If it's hard for you to reach the floor in a moment, that's what the bricks are for. Now, keeping the ankle flexed, bring the hands to the heart. Good. Now start to sit back, so you're going to stick your hips back, keeping the spine really long. Good. And then you could stay right here, balancing. You could rest your forearms on your shin. You could stay with that. Or if you can reach the floor, you'll bring your hands down to the floor with this foot on the outside. Now, if you can't reach the floor, you could always use bricks. Do you want the bricks, or do you want me to move them out of the way? Okay. So if it's hard to reach the floor, use the bricks. Otherwise, hands are on the floor. And then she's wrapping that foot around the tricep. Now, just like in Bakasana, she has to start to bring her weight forward. This foot might need to go back a little to get out of the way. So the more she can take her weight forward, the more she can get lighter in that back foot. Really nice. And she can lift it up. Maybe yours will come up a little, maybe it won't, and release it. Good. And then just rest a moment. Nice. Take Uttanasana. It's not easy. You might not get the leg up. It doesn't matter. The thing with these arm balances that I always like to say is that it never matters if you get it or not. When you're focusing on getting into the posture, it quiets your mind, which is great. Plus, of course, they're good for parties. So come on up back to Samasthiti. We'll do the other leg, taking the left ankle just past the right knee. Yeah, flexing the ankle. And then hands to heart, start to sit back. So you're just gonna stick your buns back with your spine long. And this is a great posture right here to practice your balance. Plus it's a wonderful hip opener. You could stay with it. You could rest your forearms on your shin. And that's a great way to stretch a little longer, or you can reach toward the floor. If you're going to go for the arm balance, you have to make sure that foot is wrapped around your tricep, the outer tricep. Then start to press away from the floor. Pull the ribs and belly in a lot, just like we did in table. Lean your weight forward. Lean, 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 like a teeter-totter. You have to get far enough forward, and maybe that back leg will start to get lighter. And if you can stretch it out, then you'll stretch it out. And then this time, do you want to come to chaturanga? No, we don't need to. And then come back to Uttanasana. Good. Take your feet hips width apart and grab your elbows and just hang. Nice work. Good, good. 2 long breaths here, resting. Now, if you want to practice that a little bit more, push the pause button and do some more practice with it. Otherwise, we're going to come hands to the floor and just step back to plank. Good. Through chaturanga, or not, you can go right to down dog, inhaling up and exhaling back to downward facing dog. Look forward and come through and sit and lie back. It's going to take bridge pose. So take the feet hips width apart. Make sure that the outer edges of your feet are parallel instead of the toes pointing out. Make sure they're pointing in just a tiny bit. Then press into the heels. Inhale, lift up into bridge. So you can stay right here, or you can roll the shoulders under, interlacing the fingers, or you might want to hold on to the sides of the mat and pull. Keep your neck very long And then spiral the thighs in toward each other and reach your buns to the backs of the knees. Good. Take 2 more breaths here. And 1. And come on down and rest a moment. Good. And just let your knees just draw in toward each other. So we'll do 1 more. You can do another bridge pose, or you can do Urdhva Dhanurasana wheel, upward facing bow, if that is in your practice and you feel warm enough. What are you going to do? Wheel? Okay. Or it's not wheel, it's upward facing bow. Okay. I always say the wrong thing. Okay, so hands will be onto the floor and wrists under elbows. First come onto the crown of your head. Line up your wrists and your elbows, bring your elbows in toward each other, and then press up when you're ready. When you're pressing up, spiral the thighs in toward each other. Keep reaching your buns towards the backs of your knees. And imagine that your spine is just stretching out. So one hand, someone's got their hand at the bottom of your shoulder blades and the other at the top of your hips, and just giving you space. Take another breath here. And then chin to chest. Come on down and hug your knees in. Just gently rock a little here, side to side. Good. And then roll all the way off to your right or left, either way. Press yourself up to seated and extend the legs in front for Dandasana. Just take a little forward fold here, pulling the toes back, sitting up nice and tall. So she's got a really long spine. If yours is a little bit rounded here and it's hard to sit up straight, then sit up on a bolster or a pillow. And inhale, arms up. As you exhale, you'll hinge from the hips, keeping the spine long as you come forward. Reach for the feet if you can reach them. Otherwise, you can always use a strap or you can hold your legs. Pulling the chest forward as you inhale, stay or exhale, coming forward. Good. Relaxing the shoulders. So she can lean forward, and she's got like her belly can pretty much touch her thighs. So she's got a tiny bit of rounding, but if you're that deep, everybody does. It's okay. Otherwise, if you're not getting your belly touching the thighs, then I suggest staying up higher and keeping the spine long. Good. And then inhale the head up and exhale to release. Really nice. Bend your knees, feet flat onto the floor. And with a really long spine, you're gonna roll yourself onto your back, using your belly muscles a little bit. Good. And then walk your feet in closer to your hips. Lift your hips up, shift them off to your right, and take your knees to the left. Twist. Now if you want to take this twist a little bit deeper, you can cross your right knee on top of the left knee. That's it. And then look over the opposite shoulder. Good. And as you're here in this twist, try and keep your belly turning up toward the ceiling so that you can get a nice twist in the spine. 2 more breaths here. Good, and then come back through center and pick up your hips, shift them off to the left side a little bit, knees over to the right and looking over the left side. Good. Cross the knee over the knee if you want a little deeper twist. And again, once you're in the twist, try to turn the belly up toward the ceiling so that you can get a little deeper into the twist if it's possible. Never forcing though. Always listen to your breath. You want nice, comfortable inhales and exhales. And then inhale, come back through center and make your way into Savasana. I kind of came off the mat a little. Are you comfortable or? Yeah? So make yourself comfortable. Let your feet just flop open, your arms by your sides, your palms facing up. Close your eyes. If your chin is higher than your forehead, you could prop up a pillow underneath you. But we're just gonna stay here for a minute or two resting. And this is probably the most important pose. So see if you can stick with it. It can be difficult sometimes. quiet mind, quiet body, Savasana. And now right where you are, take a slightly deeper breath in. As you exhale, begin to make some movements in your fingers and your toes, your hands and your feet. Reach out through your arms and your legs. And then bending the knees. Just roll yourself off to one side. Either side is fine. And then as you're ready, slowly make your way up to seated. And our quote today, I chose one again from our little book of wisdom for exquisite ladies, but gentlemen are exquisite too, so you're not excluded. This is a quote from Roger Ebert. It's kind of funny, it's kind of random. To make others less happy is a crime. To make ourselves unhappy is where all crime starts. We must try to contribute joy to the world. That is true no matter what our problems, our health, our circumstances. We must try. I didn't always know this, and happy I lived long enough to find it out. So our yoga practice definitely helps us to bring more joy to the world. Let's bring our hands together. Hands to the forehead, reminding us to have clear and loving thoughts. Our hands to the heart, reminding us to have clear and loving intentions. And our hands to the mouth to remind us to have clear and loving communications, sending out all this positive energy that you created to all beings everywhere. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you, Shireen, for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed our practice. Push the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Visit fightmasteryoga.com. We have some retreats coming up this summer. I would love to see you there. If you can afford a donation to help support us continuing to bring you videos every week and even more, there is a link below, or at fightmasteryoga.com there's a donate button. Again, thank you for coming today. Thank you for taking care of your body and your mind. See you soon. Bye.